The 7,000 that we've lost pales in comparison to the number of individuals that have taken their own life, that have died by, which is over 150,000 right now.
I can't even believe that that's a true statistic.
That's a true statistic. Somewhere between 17, depending on what numbers come out, between 17 and 22 individuals per day. And then there are 2 independent studies that show that numbers actually double.
Punk rock sober. I'm Tyler Ramsey, and we are raw dogging reality. I have a new drug though, and it is curiosity. And there's something that's like really piques my curiosity. I just watched this documentary and blows my mind. It's the most interesting thing that I've seen in decades. The documentary is called In Waves and War, and it is about this special forces operator, and his name's Marcus Capone, and he had this really rough experience after service of PTSD and having troubles with his family, and even thinking they may want to end it. And he researched with his wife something called Ibogaine, and it saved his life. And he is now passionate about saving the lives of other soldiers who are experiencing the same thing. So my terrific guest, Marcus Capone.
Yeah, Tyler, thank you. I'm so stoked to be here. Like, just when we connected at the movie, right? You came with
your screening.
Our screening in LA here. You came with Blake and the crew, and then
who is my friend?
So Blake Mykoski, is very close with Tyler. Is very, very close, with me, and he's been involved in our work, for a number of years now, and he's an awesome dude.
Yeah,
he did. He started, he donated to vets early on because he saw the mission was so powerful, and then he saw what I was doing for the private sector, kind of expanding the scope of what we're doing for veterans with Tarmind, and he's just been a big cheerleader and all this stuff, and then we got connected, and when you asked me to be on the show, I was stoked.
So I was so excited.
And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, of course I do diligence, that's my background, and I was like, I'm like, you just chatted with Andrew Huberman. I'm like, that's a big deal.
Dude, it's such, how,
and then Jack.
Oh my God, of course. Yeah. Osborne, you're talking about Jack Osborne?
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
So this is one thing I'm finding about having a podcast. It's similar to high school, where if you are trying to date different girls in high school, you all of a sudden it's in many ways, your last girlfriend will help you get new girlfriends. And I'm finding that my last guest will help me then have like the gravitas to then approach new guests. And so it's clear it's working. Andrew Huberman, he just had on someone else from your documentary, DJ.
Yeah, of course. I mean, DJ's a close friend and a stud, and, was just an awesome SEAL. And, then he left the SEAL teams and started an awesome business, and he's got an awesome family. Patsy is a close friend of ours, and Amber's, and he's cool. I need more DJ.
So intense.
He's super intense. I mean, look at him. He's great. But, like he says, he's got dials now, not switches, where before, I always tell everybody we have on and off, but, we can dial it up now and dial it back down when we need to. And I like that.
That was a great reference.
That
was a great reference. And that's what he was able to accomplish as a result of this therapy.
100%.
I want to say before I get too far, so your nonprofit, your organization is called Veterans Exploring Treatment Solutions.
Correct.
There's a statistic that I heard you say on the Daily Show and blows my mind.
Everybody's mind, yeah.
Oh, okay. So tell me if I'm repeating it correctly. Actually, why don't you just tell me the statistic?
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know this, and I'm surprised that they don't. And when we say the number, everyone goes, you need to like paste that everywhere, so the public understands kind of the how deep this issue is. And it's not just in the veteran space, it's everywhere. But we've lost a little over 7,000 individuals that were killed in combat since 9/11.
Okay.
And that's a big number. I mean, it's not...
Wait, how many?
Over 7,000.
Okay.
It's like 7,065, or I don't know the exact number, but it's just over 7,000. Just to put that in perspective, Ukraine and Russia There are over 1 million lost lives right now, which is
What?
insane, right? Now, the 7,000 that we've lost
Okay.
pales in comparison to the number of individuals that have taken their own life, that have died by suicide,
Yeah.
which is over 150,000 right now.
I can't even believe that that's a true statistic.
That's a true statistic and growing, somewhere between 17, depending on what numbers come out, between 17 and 22 individuals per day.
Yeah.
And then there are 2 independent studies that show that numbers actually double. So if you put in addiction and some other things,
Yeah.
the VA puts out roughly 17 to 22 per day, lower end for females, higher end for males. But when you talk about doubling that number, I mean, this is per day. So what are we doing, right?
Well,
Like that's why
plus all of the, and by the way, the only thing that we have to kind of edit as we speak is oddly, YouTube will, if I say, suicide too many times, YouTube will think that I'm just casually talking about it.
Got it.
And they'll lower how much this episode gets exposed to. So just try to say take their own life.
Yeah, I would say died by their own hand.
Yeah, great. Okay,
or took their own lives.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously there are people that have taken their own life, and then there are probably 4 times the amount of soldiers and veterans that have also not done that, but they're currently destroying their family, and they're currently suffering from incredible addictions, and they're
or attempted, Tyler.
Oh,
that's that number's huge of individuals that have attempted and have been unsuccessful. And there's a host of reasons, right? Some are asking for help. Some, really have come to the edge and like, what, I'm just going to jump. It's sad because these are individuals that may have had a moment of I don't want to call it, not having clarity, but just it got so heavy.
Sure.
Right. And they thought, anything going forward was just not worth it. And, I've been there, and it's not a fun place to be. I mean, clinical depression is really, Blake talks about it. He does it really well, where he came to the edge too. And I was there.
I saw Blake during his terrible depression, and it was one of the scariest things I've ever seen. It was like talking to someone who, I like horror movies, and I would imagine someone who was taken over by like a voodoo thing, like they just
you're not yourself.
Dead eyes.
You're not yourself.
So the reason that I am extra passionate about what you're doing and excited and like I think that I just want to blow wind in your sails for the rest of my life is because my father, when I was a kid, when I was in 2nd grade, he shot himself in the head. And
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Hear that. Yeah.
But it was because the craziest thing. So he shot himself in the brain and lived through that. And so and was just incredibly physically traumatized by it. And so growing up with him, he wasn't the same father figure that I think that I was kind of hoping for. But we ended up having like a pretty cool relationship. But I one time interviewed him, and he was saying like he couldn't shut off certain images that he saw in Vietnam. And it was just so much. And then he was drinking to cover him up. And then that was just wrecking his family. And
I know it. I get it. And I empathize with you about that.
Well, it's the idea that you're not just helping these soldiers, but you're also helping generations that will hopefully avoid this incredible wreckage.
We were with our kids last night. We're out here in California from Dallas and just hanging out with our son now.
Yeah.
Just seeing how incredible he's becoming and how dark it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like a new person. But we always say, and now his kids and their kids, they're going to be great. Right. Like, so we have healed generations forward. Right?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's amazing. My kids don't even remember it. I'm referencing my own addiction, actually. bouncing around. It's completely. I'm not a soldier, but I did have. I
We're soldier in our own worlds, right?
right.
Yeah.
I'm also excited about this because I'm so deep in let's see the world of recovery,
Mm-hmm.
and I see the same thing that was so helpful for you, Ibogaine, is also having. I just read a statistic. I think maybe 80%. I think. Tell me if the statistics. Are you up on the stats?
I am. I mean, I know stats sometimes just go all over the place, but
Yeah.
go ahead.
I just read that 80% of the people who go through Ibogaine treatment and then follow it up, 80% are successful in their recovery.
How strong is that? And you live in this world, right?
Yeah.
You live in the recovery world.
We don't see anything near those stats.
No, it kind of, when I look at some of the stats from some of the programs,
Yeah.
single digit numbers, it's a bit frustrating. It's a little sad too, because people are reaching out for help.
Right.
And if they see that, oh, I'm going to go through this program and I have less than 10% chance of it being successful, that's a little bit of a hit, I think.
Scary, yeah.
To
definitely.
the individual saying, hey, I'm putting my trust in you and I only have a single digit chance of survival here.
Yeah.
But when you talk about 80%, now I'm excited.
Yeah, that's like a B. Great.
Yeah. B is
B minus
for for sure. So
for in recovery, when you go to a rehab, if you're in a place that's honest, they will go, all right, everyone look around you. Like only one of us is probably going to make it out of this the next year without relapsing.
Wow.
Only one of us.
Well, I want to get into that whenever you're ready, because I haven't been to a rehab facility. I haven't been to AA.
Okay.
I kind of white knuckled it, which I don't recommend.
No.
But it worked for me, and I think that's kind of how I live my life in general. And so, but we can get into that.
My grandfather white knuckled it. It does work for some people, but it certainly isn't. Tell me about your story of recovery. And actually, okay, forgive me for stopping you.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm laying a really clear context going forward for anyone who's listening, and that you are I think everyone knows the SEALs is like the most highest top performing of all the soldiers. And you have seen the absolute thickest of battle. Was it Afghanistan?
I've been to both global war and terrorism, war zones. So I've been to Afghanistan and Iraq, different fights, but still the same stuff, doing the same things, just two different areas. One, very rugged terrain, mountains of Afghanistan. Iraq, more urban, flat, different. When we'd go in a house, sometimes you'd see a Nintendo, or you wouldn't see that in Afghanistan. It was, you kind of felt like you were
living to a cave.
Yeah, it was different cultures, different landscape, but still you're doing the same thing, and you're coming out.
In the course of a month, how often would you be in an actual gunfight?
We went out. Sometimes we went out every night.
Okay.
And then it was always in periods. So you would never. It wasn't like sometimes Hollywood sensationalizes war like it's like every day, all day. And I think we experienced that in places like, well, even in Vietnam, they may go time where there's nothing, and then you'd have maybe several weeks of intense combat.
Right.
World War II, totally different story. I mean, it was trench warfare, totally different time, right? Our grandparents and, those crazy and hard. But, I always used to say, remember that crazy uncle you had, or the grandfather that didn't talk to anybody, and you're going like, what's wrong with that individual? And now we look back and go, oh, I know it was wrong. Like they never kind of recovered when they got back. There was not a whole lot of this. And then, as guys, we just didn't ask for help. We just grinned and bared it and went to work and put food on the table. And I think that's how we looked at it. But is that a way to raise your family? Is that a way to go through life? And it's not. You and I both know that.
Do you ever have these thoughts in your head and you can't get them out. And it could be a dangerous thought. It could be something that's like, my relationship is not what I want, or something. It's like, that's what OCD is. It's having something stuck in your head that just you can't get out. And there is help for it. And it's nocd.com. And they're a sponsor. I'm really proud that they're a sponsor. And I'm going to read something. OCD is serious and often debilitating. It's the worst. But the good news is that it's highly treatable. It just needs the right kind of therapy, not standard talk therapy. That's not recommended for OCD. That's where NoCD comes in. NoCD is the world's leading provider of specialized OCD treatment, connecting you with licensed therapists trained specifically in treating OCD. They offer live virtual therapy sessions covered by insurance for over 155 million Americans, plus ongoing support between sessions. So you're never alone. If this sounds like something you or someone you love might be going through, go to nocd.com. That's a great name, by the way. nocd.com and book a free call to learn how they can help. That's nocd.com. There's nothing worse than ruminating on a thought and not getting it out of your head. nocd.com. You had you would develop such strong camaraderie in the teams. Do you, going through all that, you don't reach out to each other and go, hey, emotionally, how are you doing?
I do. We do now.
Okay.
We do now, mostly. And there's still ways to do it where you still feel like, hey, I'm still a man. I'm still a man. Like I haven't lost that edge. And I tell people, I was like, hey, I'm still Marcus Capone. I'm the same person you met 20 years ago, just different, better.
Yeah.
And again, I could dial it up if I need to, but I don't need to most of the time, right? You said something in here when I walked in, always makes me feel, you're like, man, you're glowing right now.
You're glowing.
I'm like, yeah, and I wasn't like this for a very long time. I enjoyed serving. I enjoyed mostly the camaraderie, right? It's like that brotherhood and your teammates. Literally, a person would take off the shirt of their back if they were freezing to give to you if you were worse. That's what type of
it's amazing
unit or brotherhood you have. And then when you get out, I say, you talk about PTSD, there's a lot more to this, right? It's more a brain health thing. I call a lot of it post-transition stress disorder, right? So you have your issues from when you served, you did all those things. You may have some stuff from childhood, like you talked about, that I experienced. The stuff that you saw in the movie with DJ and Maddie had some childhood things that went on, carried that into the military, had some military stuff that went on, and then you transition out, and then it's like the cherry on top. There's that transition stress of going, well, I just operated at the highest level in my field, in my bubble, and now I step off into a world where individuals they don't understand what you're dealing with or what you came from. And so it's very difficult to assimilate into that environment and just be awesome again, right? Be at the top of your game. And as you know, you don't learn anything overnight. It takes time. It took time to be a good SEAL, many years, right? Learning from individuals that have been there in the past. When you step off in the private sector, whether you go into private banking or music or whatever it is, it takes time to, Malcolm Gladwell, right? Is it like 10,000 hours?
10,000 hours.
To be an expert in whatever you're doing. And so when you step off, granted, you have the life experience from what you just came from, but you have all these new skills and you can do it, but it's going to take maybe 3, 5, 7, 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to go from here, then back down to here, and then have to go back up again. And so the time when you come from the top to the baseline of the private sector, that's a hard transition. And you have to be okay going, all right, this is new. I'm a new individual. I have to learn a new skill set.
I got this nerd boss, probably.
You have someone who might be younger than you that doesn't have a whole lot of leadership capabilities and treats you like you're just
my wife thinks that she's outranking me.
There you go. Well, in my case, my wife's pretty darn tough. So
you have a very, for me to finally get sober, the thing that worked that above all else was that my wife, all of a sudden, she showed me a very clear boundary. No, she was like, it was like Stalin in World War II, like not one step back.
Yeah.
This is the last time you're going to try. We're going to go through this rehab experience, and
You feel it.
turns out I go, oh man, it turns out I really like this boundary. I'm like, and
Because you love your wife.
because I love
And your
my
wife loves you. And I think that is the most important thing. You know, my wife, Amber, has said, I had to meet you halfway.
She saved you.
Yeah, she saved me.
She said, this
Yeah.
is a great love story.
Yeah.
You came back after, it was like after a bunch of times.
She lost me mentally for many years, right? Who's this animal that I'm living with, right? Don't even know how to like be in the same room with each other because we're gone 300 days a year.
Yeah.
And now you come home and it's like, well, how do you put this family unit back together? I don't know how to relate to the kids. The kids don't know how to talk to me. I remember that I would come home and they would look at me and then say, Mom, where's the cup to go have water? And I would literally go, I'm right here. Just, hey, ask Dad.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you haven't been here. Like, why would I ask you? You don't even know where the plates are in the house. So like we went through that forever, right? And so many, like I'm telling a story that literally thousands of others, it's the same story. I just tell people I was dumb enough just to come out and speak about this, but not really, I don't give myself enough credit, but we felt compelled to talk about this because it helped us, and we have friends that are struggling. We had friends that are struggling. We just wanted to help them because we know what we went through, and we saw our very best, closest friends ever dealing with the same things. And we just wanted to help them.
You see all of your closest friends, their lives are falling apart.
Yeah. I don't want to say it in that way. There are some that are fine, and maybe they're fine.
Okay.
Maybe they're fine like you and I are talking here, but in the background, things are falling apart. Then they're the ones that, hey, I'm really struggling. So they're telling you that their lives are falling apart.
Yeah.
And then there's others that you're like, oh, your life is falling apart. So I kind of put them in 3 categories.
Okay.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, there are many that are struggling, and some of them just don't know where to turn. Our whole system's fragmented in terms of, care.
And at one point you were nervous about coming out, that you had had all these benefits with this experimental, exotic, Ibogaine treatment.
Yeah.
And you were nervous that you would be shunned by the community.
100%.
That seems crazy to me.
It's wild. It was a few different things. So first is, just a quick backstory.
Yeah.
Out of college, I played football in college. I graduated, and I didn't really just want to step off in the private sector. The SEAL teams was a calling. It was a team, and I was always on a team. So to me, again, my parents didn't raise me in this like patriotic military family, even though my dad served, my grandfather served. They were both hippies. They went to Woodstock.
Wow.
So it's all making sense now, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of. And so when I told them I was going in the military, they thought that was crazy. But of course, they loved me and they would support whatever I did.
Sure. And
so I went in the military. And then, Amber met me when she was 17. I was 20 in college. And so she saw me when I was this just fun, loving, charismatic, jovial individual. And then she saw kind of over the years just this decline of this individual, this dark person. Yeah. And so when I did Ibogaine in Mexico in 2017, Veterans Day, ironically, we didn't set it up, it just happened. And she saw me for the first time. She could see the glow. She's like, she literally said, like, he's back. It's like the person I met.
I can't imagine
20 years ago.
Glorious moment.
Yeah, it was incredible. We embraced and cried but here's the thing about it. I didn't say I'm better, I'm good, I feel great. The first words out of my mouth was, this is exactly what the guys need. Like, this is the thing, and we need to figure out a way to get it out there to them and everybody else. I literally said we need to start with our friend group, and then we need to move over into the athletic community because football players and UFC and individuals were taking their own lives.
Oh yeah.
Right. And so I was like, I want to do this for veterans, and I want to do this for athletes, and then I want to do this for everyone because, my business partner always says this, and I'm stealing it now. Mental health doesn't discriminate. And the brain doesn't know the difference when you were in a childhood trauma to a wartime trauma to a car wreck. The brain just knows I went through something that's really shitty, and I'm going to express this now through depression, anxiety, addiction, alcohol, drug use, or whatever it is.
You know, I just interviewed, we just mentioned this, Andrew Huberman, and he said this thing that's really interesting.
Well, love, by the way, I think he's
the greatest.
He's the greatest.
He's the best.
He got people out, after COVID, just connecting again, I think, because individuals were trapped in their homes or wherever they were. He was like, hey, this is not healthy. Like, you got to get out. You got to get some sunlight. Go get in a hot sauna. Go cold plunge. Like, get the body uncomfortable, because that's just how we've lived for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and we're just not evolved to be in these spaces.
Dude, he's a service warrior too. I have so many people that after I did that episode that have been like, dude, he saved my life. They'll be like, cold plunge saved my life or something. It's amazing.
But what you just said, like, think about how dramatic and how big that is. Like, dude, you saved my life.
Jeez.
Right? We say it now like it's just another comment, like, oh, hey, you saved my life.
Yeah.
And we, Amber and I get these messages all the time, like, you saved my life. And I'm just like, awesome. And we love what we're doing. And I'm like, no. That's a big statement. Like, you saved me, you saved my marriage, you saved my kids, you saved generations. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
You know what I really like is that you don't just throw it off. It's, I think that it's, if you're legitimately working to save people's lives, there's no reason to be so humble that you're like, oh no, I'm really impressed that you're able to say that and really sit with it.
But there's times you don't, right? Because it's so busy and there's so many individuals asking for help that sometimes it almost feels like just a hamster wheel or, conveyor belt. But I always try to come back and be grounded and go, hey, what we're doing here is really important, and you got to remember that.
Yeah.
It's
cool when you find a purpose. It's so obviously after being a soldier, now you're another different kind of soldier. Like, I found a purpose in this. I always thought being an artist was my purpose. Turns out I'm still so passionate about being an artist and making art, but all of a sudden discussing recovery and trying to help people save their own lives and everything, turns out like there's a much greater purpose out there for me.
Yeah. And you're helping so many more people by doing that.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool. There's a young kid, and you may want to have him on the show. His name's Luca Padua.
Okay.
He's a big wave surfer.
Okay.
His mentor, he lives with Laird and Gabby.
Okay.
And Laird Hamilton, Gabby, Gabby Overs.
I know exactly who Laird and Gabby.
Yeah, of course.
Amazing.
Legends. They're legends in their own right. And Luca was like the youngest kid to surf Mavericks, and he found his passion in big wave surfing.
Okay.
And if you talk to him, you think he's like 35. I'm like, hey, I want to be like you when you grow up. And you're like, yeah, I'm only 23 years old, or 20. I think he might be 25 now.
Whoa.
But the point to this is he was surfing.
Love to have him on.
Yeah, he's so cool, and he's a great speaker too, and he's never done it. And why I'm saying this is because he's doing some work now with vets, like some co-marketing in terms of like going out there and surfing, raising money to get more individuals through treatment, right? By helping vets raise money.
Amazing.
But it's exactly what you said, Tyler, is that his passion was surfing, like your passion is art. But he felt like there's got to be more to this than just me getting on big waves and getting the rush and doing what I love doing every day. He's like, I want to do something where I feel fulfilled to pay it forward. And I was lucky enough to be introduced to him through a friend, DJ's business partner, Cole Fackler, who I served with for a number of years. And he introduced us and said, hey, I got this guy who's really interested in your mission. And then we connected, and kind of the rest is history, where now he's, for every foot of wave he surfs, he tries to raise money from individuals that will pledge towards a certain foot. So if he surfs a 50-foot wave and someone's like, hey, I want to give you $5 per every foot, right?
Cool.
And so that's what he's doing for this season and next season. So it's really cool. And so that's my point.
He's sending it to vets, veterans exploring treatment solutions.
Yes.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I'm gonna create like an an ad for this and send people to your link where they can hopefully donate or at least watch the documentaries.
Thank you.
Start for indefinitely for a while. I think
Thank
that
you.
I'm going to do for episode after episode after episode. That's what I would like to do to help.
Well, thank you. Honestly, like I know you don't have to do that, but
My pleasure.
It's such a good mission. And Amber and I have tried to back away from this for so many years because it does get heavy with the applications and reading through them, and everybody's story is the same. Like it's not, you have to rank everybody in terms of who gets grants, but they're all the same. The person that's like 575th on the list, they're going through deep depression.
Yeah.
They may have had, attempted to take their own life, or they may be struggling with alcohol and drugs and their family's disconnected.
Right.
But it's everybody, it's not like people are just okay when they reach out. They come to us when they're complex and difficult to.
So it's probably heartbreaking when you have to go,
It's completely.
we don't have enough room for this yet.
Most of the time we have to say, I don't want to say no. We give them the resources, we provide them education, awareness, but writing a grant for them at, $4,000 or $5,000 per individual, there's only a select few. We could only do maybe like 30 a month.
What does the grant go to?
The grant goes to full programming. So they get preparation and integration with a licensed therapist who's also a psychedelic integration coach.
Okay.
So they do that a couple of weeks before treatment. We pay for them to do the treatment. We have nothing to do with the treatment. Treatment has to be outside the country. So we have
in Mexico.
We have loose. Yeah. Well, it could be in Mexico. It can be Costa Rica. There's plenty of places where it's legal unregulated. But we give them all the tools, and then they go through treatment. They do that with the retreat or the clinic itself.
Okay.
And then on the backside, we support them with the therapy and the integration afterwards as much as they need.
Yeah.
But then we have all these programs over the years. I consider we've built world-class programming around this because, as you know, we always say the drug is about 10% of the healing, 90% is all the work that you put in. And we'll go into it where
that's really important.
It's the integration after. It's the not putting yourself back into the toxic environments that you may have come from, and as you know, jumping back right in with the entourage or the crew after you just got sober. That's like the worst thing that could happen, right? Unless you're good, unless you're like, I can go to any bar now or any party and people can rage and shove as much alcohol down their throat, and I'm like, nah, I don't have any desire. I actually got to get up at 5 a.m. and work out. And
I like I'm very grateful that I have landed in a place where I'm also able to go to rowdy environments, and generally, as opposed to feeling like it makes me want to participate, I end up feeling more unique and special that I'm not participating. And I also enjoy energy, a lot of energy. And so I love I still love going to parties. I love all that stuff.
Yeah. And again, I don't judge. If people,
Same.
I'm completely good. I'll never judge. I'd be calling the
only time that, so the only time that I ever feel, kind of like nerded out about my recovery is if I'm, let's say, at a dinner party.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I love it when everyone's not drinking, or no, when everyone's drinking, like really drinking, and I go, I can't, just, I'm in recovery, and it had some wild experiences, and then I had to stop. I feel like I love kind of being different in that way.
Yeah.
If there is someone else at the party that just goes, I just never liked the taste of alcohol, then I feel that I'm lumped in with this other thing, and it makes me, I feel self-conscious about it.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Yeah.
But if I'm with all, let's say it's like 6 partiers and 6 alcoholics, and that's fine. But if someone is just, I just never really like to let loose.
Yeah.
Then
I mean, like, I love red wine, and years ago, Amber and I went to Napa Valley, and we were tasting, and I'm like, this is really cool. I like the whole experience around it, where the wine comes from, especially like Burgundies, and talking about France and the different regions.
Sure.
And I love that. But then on the other side, I'm like, but I tell people the world's a better place when I'm not drinking.
Totally.
So that's kind of that's my line, and it's true. So
yeah, there's something about post wine tour drunk sex that I wouldn't say I don't miss. But I generally like by the end of a wine tour, when everyone else is having a sip or two, I'd go, several glasses and start acting like a fool. The how much time how long has it been since your last drink?
Since my last drink, it's been 3 years.
Okay.
Post Ibogaine, I didn't drink at all for about a year and a half.
Okay.
At all. I didn't
Think
want to
about
look at it, smell it. Like it was, and then I slowly went back. I'll have some wine.
Yeah.
But that wine turned into more and more. And then I would slip up.
Yeah.
And then I would say, okay, I have to stop because I see where this is going.
Okay.
It's like my new nicotine pouch. I was like, I'm just going to do 3 so I could focus and now it's into 6. And now I'm like,
God.
all right, now it's like, now I need to just stop on the weekends because, because Andrew Huberman says that, a little bit of nicotine is good for you.
Oh yeah.
So I love it. Honestly, I think it keeps me so locked on, focused. I can work if I have to grind through like emails for 4 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
I think nicotine is great. Like everything else, everything in moderation, and you could take it too far.
I am not going to try these Zens. I stopped
sure
smoking.
I have a pack here.
I don't. Oh my God. But I hear people go, oh, it's like dialed in, focused, and to be even more than alcohol, Adderall is like the thing that got. It's like I can't tell you. I could point to so many pieces of art that I just love so much. I'm like, I don't know if I would have finished if it wasn't for Adderall.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that kept me from just being like, okay, I'm going to surrender everything and I'm going to be completely sober and I'm a raw dog reality. Adderall, I would have a deadline and so finally I had to go, all right, I just can't even do that anymore.
Yeah.
So when I hear about Zen, I'm like, it sounds harmless.
Well, like you and I, I could tell it's all or nothing, right?
Yeah.
And me and Amber are the same way. We're like all or nothing. And, it's just tough. Like if you try, I just have a little, and then it just, our brains are wired that we need more.
I'll try one, but like, have you tried 7? What happens when you try 7? That's how I normally think.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you then were drinking wine and you're like, that's not going to work. So you're like, okay, done. I'm done again.
Yeah. And I had a few slip-ups where I got drunk.
Yeah.
And then finally I woke up one day and I literally just said, that's it. Like, no more. Like I literally said, this doesn't serve me.
Woke up hungover.
Woke up hungover. Yeah. I said, this doesn't serve me anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I have so much I want to do with Amber. Like we want to build stuff together. We want to continue, building vets. And we have, I have my commercial business and we have all this, branding kind of multi-channel opportunities that are just coming our way. And we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And I feel that the drinking just is going to get in the way and it's not serving that.
Yeah. Also, you probably have to acknowledge the fact that you have become a leader amongst leaders. And as an example, I think probably everyone who has any kind of mental health challenges is probably better off without drinking.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I'm going to, I'll be very straight with individuals that are struggling, that are using alcohol to cope, or that's not the answer, right? 100% is not the answer. And if you like drinking and you like drinking in social environments and you're good with it, and I have friends that have an awesome relationship with alcohol, and I would never tell them to stop. I won't tell those people to stop. I'm like, dude, you enjoy it. Your life is good.
Yeah.
Keep charging. But the second that becomes that, I guess, tailwind becomes kind of a headwind.
Yeah.
Then you should just take a pause and analyze why it's a headwind now. And if it's a headwind, maybe you should think about a different relationship with it.
Most people know. I also have friends that they have amazing relationships with alcohol, and they just get down with their wives when they go out and they don't drink too much, and they then they get down when they get home, and they probably turn it up to 11 instead of to 9, and they just have a ball, and they get up and they're great with their family. And yeah, you would never want to tell anyone like that.
Exactly. And I never would, like I said, unless unless you get your blood work back and your liver enzymes are through the roof, and like all of a sudden your liver's screaming, hey, I think you should slow down a little bit because I want to be here forever. So
I love that all of a sudden the attitude with so many people is like, let's be here forever. Like, let's just try to.
That's
like,
the new.
Oh man, gosh, I just got on testosterone. Oh man, I'm like, dude, I got another 15 years in me. I'm
There you go.
like,
Yeah.
geez. I mean, beyond what I was thinking before. There's so many like magical. I mean, okay, so let's go back to Ibogaine.
Yeah.
Oh, um, I had started a conversation about Andrew Huberman for a reason, and we didn't complete it. So I want to complete it before we get to Ibogaine. And that he said, and this also kind of includes what Blake's working on. A lot of men, and he just referenced men because that's kind of where his head was, but this is women too, feel like one of the main things is all of a sudden they decide that they are not enough, right? And I would imagine that's really common for soldiers that have come out and they have their whole ego, whole personality is wrapped up into something that they have just put their life into in the most intense way. And once they're finished, they're like, now am I not enough anymore? And he's like, then we create a salve to put on that. And it's that salve that destroys us. So that might be, alcohol, it might be drugs, it might be something, but that really resonated with me. And I imagine that it probably is like the same for really high, incredible high performers, that they all of a sudden don't feel like they're enough anymore.
Yeah, I think that's the transition piece, right? Where I was talking about earlier, where you're at the pinnacle, whatever it is. In my case, maybe it was the SEAL teams, or in my mind, I was doing something at a highest level, and then I came down to the lowest level.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what do you put on that to feel like you're enough, right? Because I didn't feel like I was anything then. I felt like, well, now I'm a nobody.
Right.
And as a nobody, that's really difficult to just go through life. You're like, well, how could I? Because we need purpose. Like we 100%.
Yep.
We don't need to be wealthy, but we do need purpose. We need either work, job. We need to be working towards something where we personally feel like we're contributing towards society. I call it like servant leadership. I did a keynote once on that. Someone asked me, said, so what do you want me to talk about? He's like, well, dude, you're a leader and you're a servant leader. Like, I want you to talk about that. Like, what does that actually mean? And I think the greatest thing that we can give to society is actually serving others.
Sure.
Right. Because there is a bit of selfishness in there. Like, I am serving you, but I'm feeling fulfilled by serving you. And I think that's extremely important. And once you get to that point, as in your case, art was self-serving. And then you're like, well, how do I give this to other people? Well, I'm going to talk about sobriety and I'm going to help others.
Yeah, it's interesting. No, I was struggling with the identity of an artist. This is my purpose. And I'm like, this is really just about me, which was cool. But I can, every now and then, maybe sometimes I donate something to charity and they go, oh, it's great. You do so many things. I'm like, I'm just getting like, I'm making clients doing this. I mean, and it's so different when you're actually being of service in a big way.
Yeah.
It's so fulfilling. Blake, our mutual friend, I have something for you. Created this company. This is cool. So I'm going to read you a poem. Have you seen this?
Yes.
You have? Do you have one?
He did send him to the house.
Oh, okay. Oh, then you already know what I'm talking about. I'll give you another one.
No, it's okay. Let's talk about it though.
But so it seems this is such kind of, in some ways, this used to feel like such a girly thing to talk about. And you're like, no, it's the opposite of that. It's like the manliest thing to talk about.
Vulnerability is the truest form of strength.
Yeah.
And I never knew that. Amber's helped me with that. And she preaches it all the time. Like when you can come out and say, I screwed up, I did this, I'm dealing with this, here's how I fixed it.
Yeah.
That's the truest form of strength. Hiding or lying about it there's nothing, right? There's no ethics there. There's
totally.
Yeah.
Hiding and lying is one of the main causes of
everything.
Addiction, people having relapses. They all of a sudden pick up some little thing that they want to hide and they're like, dude, that's going to kill you. So he's got this poem, dear friend, I see you, the you behind you, not for anything you've done or anything you're going to do. I don't stop to say it enough, but I believe in you. And if you could see yourself from my view, you'd believe it too. That's why I'm giving you the gift that I'm receiving too. A message to remind you when you're lost or feeling blue, a mantra to repeat when times are tough, because no matter who we are always enough. It's a silent prayer I'm sending for the world's mental health. I wear this symbol for myself and as a bond to someone else. It's a blessing and a gentle push to never give up, because no matter who you are enough. And then, okay, so you already know about this, but then you get this cool bracelet.
Yeah.
And it says enough.
And I'm going to put this on.
And then you give
right
it to
now.
someone.
Is that cool?
Yeah. Great. Yeah, please.
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
And then you give it to the other one to another person.
Yeah. I don't need it. I might give this to Amber or my kids.
Oh yeah, who are you going to give it to? I have more for you if you want to give more.
I do. I want to give them
You
more.
have 2 kids, right?
We do.
Yeah.
25-year-old and 23-year-old.
Yeah.
So Caden, our boy's 25.
Yeah.
And we had Caden when I was a senior in college and Amber was a sophomore.
Here, now you have 4.
Yeah.
That should come.
I mean, the more the better.
Yeah.
It's
a great gift.
It's incredible.
He's not a paid sponsor. I love the guy. He's not a paid sponsor. This is I'm actually very happy to talk about it. Even as I was reading that poem, there were thoughts that I was having.
There we go. Looks cool.
They do look cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
There were thoughts that I was having, intrusive thoughts of like, now I'm reading poetry. I mean, there's still.
Well, you did art.
I know, but there's still things in me that's like, oh, don't be so girly. And even the term girly, I should stop using. But I don't know. I'm from Oklahoma. That's where a football coach would say, you wimps.
Yeah, exactly.
Girly.
Rub some dirt on it.
And now I have this fantastic daughter. She couldn't be like less of a wimp. Dude, she runs the house.
I know what that's like.
It's crazy. My youngest daughter runs the house. If she's in a good mood, we're all in a good mood. If she's not, it's like, ugh, yikes. But it's interesting that unprompted, Andrew Huberman's just like, he's like, no, the big issue is that people aren't enough. And I'm gradually getting my head around that idea more and more. It resonated with me initially, and each time I talk about it, resonates with me more. And it's just awesome to have like such a badass talking about feelings.
I mean, it's true though, right? It's when you go through, what I've been through now on this journey of, I don't know if you want to call it growing in awareness, and you hear the term, which I didn't really understand initially. I understand it now. Is like love yourself. Like, what does that mean? Like, I love myself. But what is that? When you truly feel it, I think that's what this is. Like, you're there. You're enough. You're here. You're present. You could always do more.
Right.
And that's okay. I still have a burning desire to do more.
Yeah.
But I also know that I'm okay.
Yeah.
Right. And if anything happens, and we always joke about this, I said, Amber, if everything came crashing down tomorrow or today, guess what we would do? Tomorrow we'd wake up and we would, dust off our clothes and we would move on and we would continue on. And I think that's the part where you have to love yourself, knowing that you did everything you can. Everything is good. You can continue to strive.
Right.
But if it does come crashing down, that's okay. It's a setback and you keep going.
You probably, I used to not love myself, and now I just love myself. Just love myself. Do you remember when you're in school and you?
This is great, by the way.
Oh, I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
It's so toxic.
Did you get on ice though, like cold, like really cold?
I should have.
It's all good.
Our ice melted. Like, remember when you're in school and they pick like a biology partner for you? Sometimes you're like, I don't want to be with this partner.
Yeah.
So often before, I felt like I had been given this partner, this is how I felt about myself, that I'd been given this partner that I was entertained by, but like didn't really like. And it was because I just knew that this partner would lie sometimes or had secrets or something like that. And once I kind of cleared the deck, then I'm like, turns out I love myself. And that is, if there was a gift I could give anyone that I would be excited to give, be like, man, I just hope that everyone can kind of find a reason to truly love yourself. And it's like, it's great you're getting there.
Or see yourself like other people see you. That's the part where it's taken me a long time because I believe, and you hear this a lot because I talk to friends about this very specifically. Someone says, man, I wish I was, I wish I did what you did, or I wish it was I really hold that over my head. I said, it's funny you say that because I look at you and I'm like, damn, I want to be like that guy. Right. But that person doesn't see themselves in the same light that I see him. So
that's true.
I see you as like this uber successful, charismatic, funny, you have everything. And you might be like, yeah, but I want to do this and I want to do that. So the way you look at
even
yourself,
with this love of myself, as you were saying that, I'm like, and I can't buy a boat right now. Or like,
well, you'll get a boat if you want it. So I look at it.
No, but there's a voice that comes in. It used to be the voice and it was always all I heard, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. Do you think that, okay, so,
you want to go back to Andrew? Or are we still going?
I think we closed Andrew.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I think we closed Andrew.
Andrew, thank you. You've been great in this section of the podcast.
What a badass dude. I watched him start. He was living in my guest house when he was starting his podcast. And my wife even recorded a couple of early things for him. And then to see him like blow up and help so many people it's part of why I started this podcast.
Awesome.
I saw him, like, I'm sure it's that easy. Turns out it's not that easy.
Yeah.
But
nothing, everybody only sees they only see like this for 2 hours, but they don't see all the behind the scenes and the hard work and the sweat and the checks cut and the credit cards being maxed out and all the work that you put in. They just see the kind of the lights.
You just put that perfectly. Well put. Well put. Credit cards.
But I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
But I have a question for you. My father, when he would talk about the things that he was like, that probably screwed me up. He sort of had this one experience where, he was a sergeant and he was supposed to cross a field. And I think that the odds of everyone getting across were very low.
Yeah. I'm like picturing it and getting chills thinking about it because I get it.
Okay. And then seems like he ended up with maybe just like a tiny handful of these people that he loved on the other side. And so that wrecked him. And then he also told me that there were some. So
they did cross and they took a bunch of heavy casualties. Is that what happened?
Massive casualties.
Okay. Yeah. And he knew this coming, like kind of.
He knew there would be some casualties, but he didn't know.
That's tough.
And they turned out to be massive casualties. Yeah. So, and then he just, oh my gosh, should I have done this or should I have done that? And he had 2 Purple Hearts, by the way. He was shot, and then they were carrying him off, and then they shot him again in the ass. He's like, man, it hurts so much to get shot in the ass.
I love that he can make a joke about that, because I do. I have a friend I have many friends who have, unfortunately, multiple Purple Hearts, but I have one very close friend, and we do make comedy out of his 2 Purple Hearts. We're like, dude, why were you in the doorway twice at the same thing? It's like, how did you, I won't be next to you next time we go out because for some reason you just attract bullets, so you try to make light.
Bullet magnet.
Yeah. Like there was one guy I worked with in my very first platoon, and this is no shit. Here I am, this new guy, and I'm like the only one, and I'm like looking up to everybody. And I promise this is like the only war stories. I don't like to talk about them, but, he was in 7 helicopter crashes.
What?
7. As a Marine and then as a SEAL. But here was the joke. And here's the sad part. He lost many friends on those, but he always came out literally unscathed with barely a scratch. The joke was, no, you don't want to be in the same helicopter.
Right. Because
there's a chance that helicopter was going to crash. However, you want to be right next to him.
Oh my God.
Because he always came out okay. And you're like, oh yeah. So anyway, just trying to put like some humor into some really shitty
humor is the best.
Yeah.
But my father said that was thinking about those things were rough, but what really tore him up were the people that he killed and then he'd see really close. See, it's just
and he's like, it's not pretty.
He's like, I can't stop thinking about that. Yeah. In your experience, did one thing have more of an impact than the other?
So to relate to your dad, like I actually do think about all the similar things that he has. So, if a person, that I may have, killed or saw, I think about those all the time. Now, I don't know The other part to that is I don't know if that's affected me in a bad, like in a bad way. Like when you talk
Sure.
about PTSD, you know, because the guys I served with, including like I wanted to go over and do that. Like I wanted to go over and fight, right? Like that. You don't join a unit like that to practice. And I always used to relate it back to like sports, because it's like, you know, I grew up playing sports. I said, imagine practicing forever. Like imagine putting your helmet on and practicing every day, all day with coach, and practice and practice and practice. And you never get to put on like the gear to go play in the big game on Saturday or Sunday. It was sort of the same way in the military. Imagine just like being on the range all day, every day, practicing and practicing and practicing and planning and planning and practicing.
I'm ready.
You know, or being in like art class and just like talking about like certain things forever, but you're like, dude, when do I get to fucking paint? Like,
sure, of course.
Right. So that just like, I'm trying to like relate it in a way.
I get it.
So my point to that is we wanted to go over there and play in the game. And so I don't know how much of playing in the game affected individuals that I worked with.
Yeah.
But I definitely see the individual that maybe was there on the GI Bill, right? That just wanted to go to school, get school paid for. Next thing you know, they're in the middle of like Iraq, in the middle of a war. And I do think that some of those, a lot of those images, or what was done to them, or what they saw, or what they did, could take a heavy effect on a person's mind. Does that?
Yeah, you nailed it. I would think that just on a like a primal level, when you see like guts and stuff, and
the smell,
that is probably something that
just
like we're probably wired to be like, get away from that.
Yeah. I was one of those guys. Like I didn't grow up hunting and fishing. Like I grew up in New York thinking my meat came from a deli.
So wild.
Like literally. I used to say that. I'm like, hey guys, I know you grew up like, you know, shooting deer and like hanging them and then like gutting them. And I remember the first time I saw a deer get like gutted after it was killed. And I just remember the smell. I was just like, I'm just not sure I like this. You know what I mean? Right? It was.
I shot a deer's like gut sack one time. It's just it's
right.
horrible.
So I think I totally get where you're going with this. But going back to it, we wanted to go over there and do that. And I'm not sure how much that affected us if you asked individuals.
Yeah.
But there's probably something there. It's like, why are we having all these issues? So that stuff kind of catches up with you, or maybe you compartmentalized it initially.
Yeah.
And then, as I said earlier, maybe that tailwind became a headwind. And maybe that headwind is because, you know, of the guts or the guy's head you know, canoed or whatever.
Oh, geez. What does canoe mean?
Like a canoe.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
No, cool.
No, I you know, I just, again.
I love talking about, I'm being sensitive that you probably don't love talking about.
I don't. I you know, I never got into this to talk about.
Do you watch Taylor Sheridan shows?
Yeah. I mean, shit, I love.
Amazing.
I mean, they're incredible. I mean, I live 20 minutes from Fort Worth. So we go out to dinner to like all those places, and we go to Billy Bob's for honky tonk, and it's awesome. Like that whole environment. People are so cool.
Yeah.
But no, I love his shows. We just finished.
Did you see Lioness?
Someone at dinner the other night just told us we have to watch Lioness.
Great show in the world.
I'm going to watch it. You're the second person in 3 days that said you guys got to watch Lioness. You know what I liked Homebound. My parents it was like about the female CIA agent. It was before COVID. I think it was Homeland.
Oh yeah. Great show.
And
first couple episodes.
Yeah. And then when I told them that, they're like, oh, you're going to like Lioness. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Lioness is spectacular. Oh my gosh. I could go on and on. I can confidently say, like in the world of documentaries, I now think In Waves and War is my second favorite documentary. My first favorite is Grizzly Man.
Grizzly Man. Oh, yeah.
About the guy that lives with
Do you really
bears.
believe that though in Waves and War? I mean, you have to see hundreds of documentaries.
I worked in I come from working in nonfiction and reality and all that stuff. And I think In Waves of War is one of the most incredible documentaries I've ever seen ever.
Wow. Well, yeah. Thank you. I mean, that's just a testament to, you know, John Shank, Bonnie Cohen. They're like, you know, award-winning film directors and participant media, you know, kind of backed everything. And so Jessica, our producer, like it was just an incredible put together film.
incredible.
You know, they just did such a good, we worked with them hand in hand for years on it, and they crushed it. Like the animation was insane, you know?
Well, you couldn't explain, we should really get into Ibogaine, but you couldn't
Yeah.
explain all of the experience that someone has with this medicine, with this Ibogaine, and this wild trip that happens without animation. Like words aren't really enough.
And that's what they said initially. That, John, you know, him and I do a lot of, he was on the Daily Show. I did the Daily Show with John.
Amazing.
And he said initially when he started interviewing everybody and started hearing the stories, he said they were like, how do we capture this in a way that people understand? Like, we're going to have to do something. Like this is like the thing. And they thought, well, let's do rotoscope. And I believe rotoscope is the type of animation.
Mm-hmm.
And so they literally searched the globe for like the top animation studio. And it was out of the UK, and it's called Studio AKA. And it was incredible. It was truly incredible. Would
you explain the thing that they're trying to communicate, which is like that you kind of...
The experience, right? They're like, how do we show the world what these experiences are actually like? Because there's been so many movies and documentaries, and you probably have seen them,
right,
but they've tried to film individuals going through these psychedelic treatments,
right,
or these treatments, but they're boring to watch on camera.
Yeah.
Like a person's lying on a bed with eye shades on for 10 hours and maybe not moving, or maybe like getting up and removing it, maybe crying or throwing up. Like
right,
that's not really enjoyable to watch. You don't really grasp what's going on inside that person's,
because you're able
head.
to go into a movie, basically.
You're in the person's brain in waves and war. And they did such a good job. Those are exactly what the experiences are like visually. Now, of course, you're on the drug, you're high, you're like in the...
Explain the experience.
Ibogaine is it's not a traditional psychedelic, even though you're in you do have a psychedelic experience, but it's considered an onarogen, which is an awakened dreamlike state. So the drug class is called like an onarogen. And if you and I, if you took Ibogaine and I was here just watching you, making sure you're okay, you would put your eye shades on. There's usually music, because the music kind of brings you in and out of some of these experiences.
Yeah.
And if you took the mask off, I could actually say, hey, Tyler, are you doing all right? And you're like, yeah, I'm okay. I feel a little sick, or that was a little intense, but we could actually have this type of conversation. And then you put the mask back on, and then you're right back into the experience. So that's the difference to like an ayahuasca experience or a deep psilocybin experience, where you take a mask off, like you're in a different world. Like the walls are bending and people are different, right? It's not like that with Ibogaine. It's a very internal experience versus could be very external. Your traditional tryptamine psychedelics, which is like DMT and psilocybin and LSD and things like that.
And can you describe the experiences? Like, it sounds to me, I've taken ayahuasca, so I think I at least have some
you understand
tools
right.
to be able to communicate with you.
Yes.
But from at least the animation, it looks like once you put the mask on and you're like
you're going for the ride. Yeah.
And the ride sounds almost as if you're in like a library looking at your life.
Yes. So John's his impression after he interviewed about 20 individuals, all our stories were very similar. It was like, oh, they had this life. It was like this reflection of individuals' lives, and everybody had it differently. For mine, and for many, it's like this this picture library of your life. And for me, it was almost like Polaroid. Polaroid pictures, right? And in the movie, you see that there's these pictures literally flying all over the place, because that's how it was like in my first experience. It was just, it would fly through so fast because it was so intense. It would just be like almost like a deck of cards, but those deck of cards were pictures of different parts of my life. And I could pause on one maybe, and then I would go into that experience of what that was. Most of those experiences were obviously recollections in my mind that wanted to come out, like wanted to be expressed somehow.
Sure.
And the majority of them were dark and not fun to deal with. And it's why people go to therapy. We go to therapy to get through the tough issues that we're dealing with, right? To try to, reset the brain in a way where we're not having the depression and the anxiety. And it can take years for therapy to do that. Ibogaine and other, psychedelics, they can do that literally within a couple hours or in a night.
What a miracle.
Right. But it's like, but the other side of that, you better be prepared, because you may get flooded with a lifelong of shit that you need to deal with right there and then, of what a therapist is trying to do for 5 or 10 or 15 years.
Right.
So you can do it in a very short amount of time. So you have to be prepared for that. And that's the power of it. Like, who gets therapy that can almost solve almost all your issues in a short period of time, maybe overnight.
What an incredible miracle that is.
Yes. It's I hate to call it a miracle drug, because then we get on the spectrum of people that are listening like, oh, it's a miracle. Like, I'm going to go try that. And then they can't find a place that's safe. And so they find an underground place that might not be safe, and they're not doing the proper medical procedures. And the next thing you know, Ibogaine has a cardiotoxicity risk. So if you have any heart issues at all, you screen out with the proper medical support.
Yeah.
You do EKG, you do blood work. You can't have any stimulants in your system,
or you have to,
or you can die.
Drugs.
You have to get everything out of your system. So you have to work with a psych to do titration. If you're on, let's say, heavy dose or years of Wellbutrin, which I was on, can't have any alcohol in your system. Individuals that are going for detox, there's like a 3-week detox protocol. There's detox before, and then you can go to the facility, and then they'll detox you right down to the point of where the drug, you're going just into withdrawal, like right on the edge, right when you're going into withdrawal, meaning the body, it's out of the body, and the body's like, I need this.
Yeah.
That's when you get administered Ibogaine.
Oh, and then Ibogaine can stop that in its tracks.
100%. You wake up.
That's the most amazing thing of all.
No withdrawals. You wake up not wanting, and I'll just, again, thank God, I've never had narcotic issue. Ibogaine is probably the number one drug globally to get a person completely off of a heroin or, kind of opioid addiction. And talking about literally waking up with no withdrawals, no shakes, no, just going, I don't have any need or want for, for opioid right now, or heroin if a person is, on heroin.
Well, now there's so many other opiates, and even synthetic opiates.
Very dangerous, by the way.
Kratom is this new thing. Just you can buy anywhere.
Yeah.
You can buy there's this new stuff called Kratom. You can get it at Erewhon.
It's a problem right now, Kratom. So the retreats right now in the clinics are having a big issue with individuals that are addicted to Kratom.
Wait, because so many people are coming in trying to get help for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And also, what's the really bad synthetic opioid right now?
The withdrawal?
Fentanyl.
Oh yeah, of course. Fentanyl.
So fentanyl is a whole nother issue that the Ibogaine world is just starting to deal with, because people are coming in, and it's a really bad drug.
Oh, it's
It's killing people, and sounds like it's very difficult to work with too. So.
What do you mean it's difficult to work with?
Difficult to work with in terms of it's not the exact same as like a heroin addiction or an opioid addiction. It's so much stronger and so much more powerful. So
much more powerful. People can be addicted to heroin and then separately addicted to fentanyl. It's crazy.
Through research, obviously, we'll get better at treating individuals that are.
What an exciting time to be alive. Like could be. It feels like it is a golden age for mental health.
It's the time right now. There's because we're talking about it, because we're starting to say, hey, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, we want to fix this, versus turn our heads away and say, oh, you're an addict. You have a problem. I think every field has addicts, athletes, veterans, bankers, teachers, doctors. It doesn't matter.
Musicians,
obviously. No, but right. And so it's okay now to say, hey, I hurt my shoulder. I need you to fix it so I can get back to what I'm doing.
Sure.
I hurt my head. I need to fix it so I can get back to what I'm doing. I think that's all this is. And when you're talking about mental health as having like its time, that term now is moving more into, in the academic world, brain health, because it's at the end of the day,
Sure.
and I won't say this for everyone, but I think what is happening, if you talk to the experts, this is a brain thing. This is like a biological thing, meaning your wires are not working correctly in the brain. We need to fix those wires physically.
Yeah.
If we fix that, you won't be depressed anymore. If we fix that, you won't be anxious anymore, or you won't have the want to go do, drink alcohol or do heroin or whatever. And so, and it also, it's less stigmatized.
So wild.
If I'm like, hey, I have a brain health thing, that's much better. I feel better saying that than I have a mental health thing.
Right.
Right. So it's a little bit of stigma too there.
It's a
Public.
good point.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes I get a little bit jealous that I instead of taking Ibogaine and sort of maybe hopefully doing things quickly, that took me decades of rehabs and finally I had to, actually for me, things didn't really click. One is my wife was really powerful with these boundaries, but then I also just had this really intense experience with God reaching out and going, listen, I love you. Don't be, he sort of allowed me to, instead of just being, I hate myself for this, I hate myself for this. He's like, I want to remind you that I love you. Let's get through this.
You're enough.
But stop beating yourself up. Yeah, I guess I didn't even know about the enough thing at the time. But yeah. And then I was like, dude, if you're going to be with me through this, are we always together? This is amazing.
Yeah. You're always together, right? Yeah. It's in you.
What's your relationship with God? Or what's your relationship with a higher power? Whatever?
Yeah. That's tough. I grew up in a household that,
I feel like I'm looking at an angel.
Yeah. Oh man. Thank you.
Yeah, it's true.
Thank you. So I grew up with a Jewish mom and a Catholic dad, typical kind of New York mutt. So they raised me with no type of, like dogmatic religion, really, and so I didn't grow up knowing anything. I mean, I went to Catholic high school, but I went there to play ball. And so when I was sitting in theology class, like it really didn't make any sense to me.
Check it out. Yeah.
I didn't understand it. But now through all this work we've done through Ibogaine and the experiences that I've had about just being completely like my ego obliterated and feeling connected to everything and thinking that, this is just like a vessel of like blood and tissue and then, connected to something that is really difficult to, almost impossible to explain to anybody unless you've experienced it also, kind of, oneness, unconditional love, like all of that, right? Like I went through all of that, and it just made me think that, we're not alone. We're connected to something that is much bigger than us. And I don't know yet if I call that, religion or God. Mm-hmm. I think God's the term that we use. And so Amber says it when someone says, she's like, hey, I'm a really strong Christian, and Marcus is searching. And I think that's okay.
What if the same way that Ibogaine can sort of power you through these kind of experiences in this dream state and everything, and you come out, you're like, oh man, I'm different and I've seen things. What if in some ways it's almost like that it can, instead of having to figure out how to experience God and everything through church and generations, what if it's just like, do you want to just see what's happening? And it's the same thing where when you mentioned oneness and unconditional love, I'm like, well, those are the 2 points. Those are really the only thing that Jesus wanted to 100%. Share. Hey guys, love each other. And also, let's all just be grateful we got a dude upstairs. Like,
yeah. See, when you say it like that, it doesn't sound weird, right? It's not hippie dippy, right? That's what people get scared of. Like, oh, dude, you're way out there. Like, no, I'm look at us. Like we're normal. We're human beings, but these are what we experience. So nobody can say, you can't tell me what I experienced. Right. And that's what I experienced. And, people get they get weird when sometimes you talk about this. But like I said, if you haven't experienced it, it's very difficult for another person to understand what you're talking about, right? So I'll tell you, my last Ibogaine experience was in October with two very special individuals who I'd love to talk about. One of them is arguably maybe the best UFC fighter that's ever lived and ever done anything for the sport, and
who
is going to change the world.
Connor?
Well, he's talked about it. So, you know,
You went into it with Connor though?
Yes.
I love Conor McGregor.
And he talked about it. And so, you know, my last experience down there was pure bliss, right? So my first experience is what the movie was about and what got me on this road, where it was deep, it was dark, really dark. You know, I almost want to use the term demonic, but let's just say it was evil, right? I was filtering shit out, right? So if you believe in that, I was getting rid of everything that was bad, and I was experiencing all that. So like ugly faces, a lot of gore, you know, just a lot of fighting. It was just like, I was in it. When I came out the other side, the next day, it was just like, wow. So that was my first experience, right? I had to filter out all the garbage that was in me. My last experience was literally like I was just hanging in the hands of God.
Cool.
For eternity, for like hours. So I had this pure, blissful, spiritual connectedness on Ibogaine. And when I tell people that, they're like, I don't want to touch that. Like my experience was not like that. And I said, hey, my first experience was like yours. Trust me. I had to work through all these quote unquote, these demons in the darkness. And my last one was just like, yeah, man, you're good.
Spectacular.
You got it. Yeah.
And you were with Conor McGregor for this.
Yeah.
I do find that as a Christian, anytime I see someone all of a sudden have this awakening, and then they all of a sudden go, dude, guess what? I just met God or Jesus. And I'm like,
you know, now I'm crazy, right? Because here I'm talking about the oneness that I experienced on it. But again, I can't take that back, and I can't make believe that I didn't experience that. Right.
Oh, of course.
Right. So
what do you mean when you say now I'm crazy? Are you saying?
Well, I mean, again, if someone's listening or have never experienced that, how do you how do you understand it if you've never experienced it?
You're kind of, in some ways, the fact that you're describing it from a point of view that doesn't feel like then you're putting yourself in this religion, and you're just like, all I know is I sort of met God, or, you know, I felt in the present. It's in some ways more interesting and more authentic.
I mean, I want to be authentic, right? And I don't want to sound weird. I don't want to sound too far out there.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to sound institutionalized, that I've been, cause I've been programmed to know and think and do all these different things, but I say, hey, this is what I experienced, man.
I'm convinced that
take it or leave it, you know?
I'm convinced that the goal is that that the point is that we all get to this place, and we each are given these different paths. Some of it is like, here's a Bible and here's this, and other people, you can have all these different ways of getting there. I don't want to tell, when someone says this is the only religion or something like that, I'm like, wow, what that would be. To me, that seems absurd.
It's tough.
So, but at the same time, I'm very convinced that I think I just love the dude that forgives. So it's like, Jesus is my guy.
Yeah.
But I'm so open to anyone else.
Love is real though, right, Tyler? Like that's very real, and again, when I hear love everything. You almost immediately go back to the 60s and the counterculture in the hippie area, and like, hey man, everybody should be loving each other. Like, yeah, like they had that right for sure. Like if we loved each other,
they had it right.
You know what I mean? Like if we loved each other, there'd be a lot less issues. The problem is, humans we're a creature of habit, and it's just, like, let's just take war and fighting
sure.
War is like the big one, but like, let's just talk about on a general level fighting. And we've been doing that since, was it Cain and Abel? Like, didn't one brother kill the other?
Yeah, he's very upset. His brother's, he got upset with his brother and he killed him.
Right. And so that's happened and it's always happened forever. And so like, let's go.
And then he tried to hide it. That's the big thing. He tried to hide it.
I have my land, let's make believe we're like 20,000 years ago. I have my land and my family, and you have your land, Tyler, and your family. Right. And all of a sudden on my land, I had a drought and all my food went away. It's gone. And I'm like, dude, I'm hungry and my family's hungry and my cousins are hungry. But Tyler's land, look at it over there. Like it's green. They got water. Yeah. They got animals. If I don't go over there and talk to Tyler, we're going to die. So I'm going to go over. I'm like, I'm going to knock on your door. I'm like, Tyler, dude, we ran out of food. We don't have any animals and we're low on water. Can you spare some? And you're like, fuck off. Yeah. And I'm like, wait, why? I'm like, don't you want to help me? Like, we're going to die here. And you're like, no. And then I get angry because we are going to die. So you're not going to give it to me. So now I'm going to take it because if I don't, I'm just going to watch my family. Sure. Right. So we've always had that type of struggle of, I think, fighting because we've almost had to. It's like survival of the fittest in a way. Yeah. And I think that's just the way of life. And unfortunately, it's
not going anywhere.
It's a shitty way of life that's not going anywhere, and I think every human, even every warrior culture, I think doesn't pray for war. They're just ready for it. But nobody really wants to go out there and do gnarly things to people. I think that's weird. And there's just something.
The Spartans seem like they were like, no, we want war.
Yeah. Well, the Spartans were protecting themselves too, right? Because you had a much bigger force that was looking to just take over the world.
Do you study, do you really study history, study wars and stuff?
I don't, but when I talk about it, I love hearing, because everything repeats itself. Yeah. And when you think like right now, right, if you look at the world, we think like the world is completely in chaos. Everything's happening. It's nuts. The US, Russia, like Korea, China, like all this stuff is happening that's bad. I look at it as, wait, no. We've always been the exact same way. It's always been bad. We just have access to information faster. So when you hear it on the news all day long, you're like, oh my gosh. Now, granted, things are happening that are not.
Can you imagine if during World War II, they would have had like internet, like the idea that all that was happening. There's one story, this Battle of Stalingrad. There's something that sort of tickled me, whereas the German army was like begging they're like, this is not working out. This is not working out. And Hitler was like, stay where you are. Mm-hmm. And it's like, dude, it's like,
here's some more amphetamines.
Yeah. Here's some more amphetamines. We can't get many supplies to you, but we can get more amphetamines. And they were also like, no, the Russians, they won't stop coming. Mm-hmm. Like we can't, no matter how many we killed, they just keep coming and they're getting behind us now. And we're about to just be overrun. And Hitler's like, he offered the General Pallas. He offered him this one thing that for some reason, I think there's so many metaphors to this. It's like, guess what? I am going to promote you to field marshal. And it's like the highest of all ranks and honors. But then it came with this, no field marshal had ever surrendered. And so he was basically like, no, you're going to die there.
Yeah. And the boss just promoted me.
Yeah. What
do I do? Well, I mean, that's what's happening in Ukraine and Russia, right? So Ukrainians are slaughtering Russians like by literally the millions. Oh. But if you look at a map right now, Russia just keeps coming and keeps coming and keeps coming. They're losing a lot, but they keep gaining land. So it's the exact same thing. It's happening. It's happening again. It repeats itself. So
Ukraine, I think they have about 1 million. I just heard that they got 1 million new drones. They're getting ready to come out. I mean,
it's drone warfare, not trench warfare anymore. So
you didn't really have to deal with like.
No, we didn't have to deal with any drones. The only drones we had were we had huge drones that we used for surveillance. Yeah. And that can talk to us and look for us and things like that. But, and it was, they did have weapons. So they were firing.
But no one was droning.
No one was really droning. And it was very early stage. There were some units that had some drones. But again, those drones were just like reconnaissance drones. So, you know, oh, we have to go over that hill. Why don't we just throw a drone over there?
Right.
So we can save like 30 individuals and let the drone just kind of look around and we can see it. Oh, no one's there. Bring the drone back. Okay, now we can like walk over. So that was like early stage. But I remember once walking into my team room and going, hey guys, this whole drone thing, I said, you know what's going to happen? Someone's going to strap a bomb on a drone and they're going to fly it into like Giant Stadium and just, you know, just set it off. Like that's a real thing. And there's some evil people out there. And I remember having those early discussions before, and then I got out. So
I'm surprised it's not happening a ton right now.
I know I'm happy that it's not like that. It's right now it's on the battlefield, but it doesn't mean that we can't have some crazies, you know, that decide that.
I mean, I guess it's happening a lot in like Israel.
Yeah, it's
other
happening in
places.
Israel. So we got off.
But there's so, I mean,
Could we pause for like 3 minutes?
Yeah.
I gotta take a leak. I've been drinking.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been drinking
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
This is good. We're good. Like,
we're great.
you like where this is going?
Yeah, we're great. Oh, I think we have about 50 more minutes.
Are you good?
Oh, great.
That's not where the bathroom is. You're not going towards the bathroom. The bathroom is that way. Dude, this is beyond great. I couldn't be enjoying myself more. I told you it's like groundbreaking stuff. I mean, unbelievable. Well, all of a sudden now I'm like tripped out on this idea that like you can fast forward your experience of finding God through this.
Just heal any trauma. Kind of amazing. It's a park, right? Ibogaine's a park.
Where's my phone? Where's my phone? Dude, I've like I'm very proud of what I'm about to talk about.
Well, I'm excited.
I'm very proud. I'm like, I figured out a way to I have one sponsor today, and the way that I'm gonna.
Hey, do you want 6 milligrams?
No, I don't need a brand new thing to get addicted to.
Amber, the other day we were in the car and I was like, hey, can you stop at 7-Eleven? So this is in Texas where we live in Dallas.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I just want to run in and grab some of the packs. I said, because they're two for $3.50. And in California and in New York, they're $14 for a single, like literally.
Everything here is so crazy.
Oh, and in Texas it was.
I've been sending them to people. They're like, hey, they're like $14. I was like, here, I'll send you 12. I literally bought 12 the other day.
Big Daddy.
And mailed them out to my buddy because like, dude, they're like $14 out here. I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. Like, you don't.
Amazing.
But I brought a couple in the car. Amber's like, she goes, I'm literally watching you turn into a nicotine addict. I'm like, well, they're really good. And they help me focus. So
yeah, careful.
as long as I get up, I work out, I still get on the treadmill,
Right.
Lift some weights, surf, whatever.
Well, have you met anyone that's like, I just gotta get off these?
I
mean,
no, right now I'm seeing the opposite. I'm seeing like, dude, it helps me like just zero in on the stuff I'm doing and work. So what I do regularly is my blood work. I get my blood work checked to make sure that's just for overall health.
Yeah.
So I'm always watching, and I work with a natural medicine doctor, functional medicine doctors that watches everything. So when there's something off, they say, what are you doing? So I want to see if it does anything, right? If it brings my VO2 max down, if it raises some levels, like then I'll know. There's nothing that
pokes that doesn't pokes something out though. There's like,
yeah. I'm just waiting for that.
you're waiting for what it is.
I'm waiting for that. And then when I
It
do
does sound like a delightful thing. I'm not going to try. Don't need another thing.
no, it's not as good as like cheesecake or something. No.
Oh God.
But if you have too much cheesecake, then
Yeah, of course. That's a very clear thing. So there,
you want to talk about something cool.
what the cool thing is, I think I'm just going to, I'm kind of proud of the segue. So we've been talking about Ibogaine,
Yeah.
right? And the thing that blows my mind most of all is that, Ibogaine can in some ways be a shortcut for someone's spiritual experience to find a higher power, or to at least be surrounded by what is or could be God, and to feel like a sense of oneness and everything. So that to me feels incredible. We have a sponsor, and it's called Urban Golf Performance.
Yeah.
UGP. Do you play golf?
I just got back into it. And we should talk about that because it also has to do with like mental health. So, but go ahead. Yes. I love golf. I played a lot of it
Yeah.
about before 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And then I got into like all my own stuff, my own business, and I hung up everything and then I got invited 2 weeks ago by a friend and two others and their kids to Pebble Beach. So I went from not playing any golf to like dusting off my clubs and going to Pebble Beach and playing Pebble, Spanish Bay, and Spyglass.
I just played those. Amazing.
And
glorious.
I got back home and I ordered 2 pairs of golf shoes. I'm getting fitted for a new set of clubs. And here's the thing. I did not care a second of how I played.
Yeah.
And nobody there did, even though they're all like trying to lower their handicaps and they're good. It was just about being outside and being in nature. And like Spyglass, maybe the most beautiful place I've ever been.
Yeah.
There were deer running all over the place and birds chirping and green. And I'm like, dude, what am I doing in front of the laptop in like, the ceiling, the floors and the walls? We got to be out there. Like we got to be in nature. We can't.
Did you meet Mac Todd when you were out there? He owns something called UGP, which is like
I didn't meet
Ibogaine for golfers.
Oh, you're kidding me. That's why
the segue.
No, I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
This is great. The fact that you brought up golf. Again, it's funny how the universe works, right? I just got back into it. Now you're telling me about it's a sponsor.
I went for like, it's this cool place, and you go for like a lesson and you kind of sign up for something. Anyway, it's such a holistic thing. Like they will kind of figure out how your back is working. They do all this stuff before they get to your swing. And they made me go from like dangerous to like, I can play again. And the next time I go, I'll probably go from I can play again to like decent.
I'm in. Let's sign me up.
Oh my God. That's the pitch. I just played, this is going to be some name dropping, but I just played with, my friend AJ from the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
Terrific guy. And he was like, man, my like back hurts after I play. And I was like, you should go to this place. He's there today. I'm so excited to hear how his experience goes, but it's killer. It's called UGP. Yeah. Amazing.
Now, is it here? Is it here in LA?
It's in LA. Blake's the one that sent me, got me excited about it.
Is there one in Dallas?
There's one in Dallas.
There should be. I mean, Dallas has got some beautiful.
Wait, I think there's one in Dallas. I'm pretty sure there's one
awesome.
in Dallas.
All right. I need to get.
I know there's one in Austin. Yeah, I can't get over the fact that also I just saw Rick Perry on Joe Rogan talking about Ibogaine. First of all, I've always thought Rick Perry was awesome.
He's the best. I call him Governor. Like I can't call him Rick. I call him the Gov or Governor, even though he's not.
Yeah. I thought it was so cool that he had the story that a coyote was trying to kill his dog. He just like shot the coyote. That's a great story.
So Governor was one of the ones where I was like, Governor, I grew up thinking meat came from a deli. He's like, well, Marcus, sorta, but
you probably work with him.
We do. We work with him very closely. We've worked with him for over the years. He's been a huge supporter of ours. We speak to him pretty regularly.
Yeah.
And he is such an advocate from just a place of like seeing the effects it had on individuals close to him that he loved. And he saw the turnaround in them, similar to like my turnaround.
Yeah.
And he got interested and curious, just like I love being around curious people who are continuously learning and not,
It's my new drug,
right?
curiosity
And learning. And that's him. And he just wanted to know more. Like, what is this thing that I'm seeing people who I thought were not doing well all of a sudden do this 180? And that's how he got into being an Ibogaine advocate. And then seeing
it's
the data.
also curing, or it's also addressing, and I don't know about curing. Maybe I think it's actually curing Parkinson's.
I think we'll find that out, right? I think the research is going to show that it's definitely helping individuals who have any type of degenerative brain, where the brain is dying. And so if you want to say that, neurons, right? Cells are dying. What the Stanford Ibogaine study, who Vets partnered with, showed that's where the data came from. So the anecdotal stories are great, right? The movie, but that's why, the Stanford piece in the documentary in Waves of War is so powerful, because you're talking about the world's leading experts in brain health saying psychiatry has never seen anything do this to the brain in terms of the functional imaging. And you can be subjective on how you feel or how a doctor thinks you feel, but like, let's go to the tape. Like, when you take a before image of a brain and then you go do Ibogaine and then you do an after image of the brain, and it shows that the parts of the brain that were damaged have regrown and have gotten better and are now communicating, and there's blood flow there there was no blood flow before. That's I think the tangible aha moment of there's something here, and that's really
golden
exciting.
It's a golden age. If all the ripples down through generations that would have been mangled emotionally, that won't happen anymore. I mean, it's a beautiful time. But then I think of all of the, like, I guess my mind doesn't really get that far out of America, but it's like, what could be going on in Russia and Ukraine? It's like, if a million people died.
That's what I've read. I keep reading that number again. I keep like going on like my AI. I'm like, how many? Like 1 million. Gosh, that's a lot. And in Ukraine, it's up over, I think, 500,000. I mean, it's just, the number's staggering. I mean, like I said, we lost 7,000 in the U.S. and that's heartbreaking and traumatizing. But 1 million, I'm almost like, man, we're soft. Like, when we think of how many people were killed over there, like, how are they dealing with it?
Do you know Patrick Dossett's story? I'm going to bounce to a totally different thing. Do you know Patrick Dossett's story of, I'm aware that there was the horrible helicopter crash of all of the Navy SEALs.
Yes.
We
had two of them. Yeah. And Pat's a friend. And
you had two crashes? I thought it was just
we had a crash in 2005 where the Lone Survivor kind of movie was based off of. That was called Red Wings.
Okay.
And then years later, I think 8 years later, we had another crash called Extortion, and I think that might be the one that Pat Dossett was speaking about. He one or the other, but both of them were like the greatest losses of lives in the SEAL community, and very difficult to deal with, obviously, at that time, both those times.
And then he married the sister of one of the guys that lost their life. I always think that's a great story, sweet story.
No, it's a really good story, and there's always, you kind of, I think some people go, why'd you marry that person? But, it's just that community of individuals helping each other and doing anything for each other. And I'm sure they met.
If the SEAL community could pass on everything I know about all the SEALs I know that will do anything for each other, anything. And they also, if you're a friend of one, I have several friends. I also am friends with this guy, Kaj.
I know Kaj.
You do?
Very well. Yeah, okay, he's awesome.
I used to do war correspondence with Kaj with Vice magazine.
Kaj is
that's right.
He's awesome. We met each other when we were at Buds.
Yeah.
We weren't in the same class. I think he was maybe a class or two behind me, but we kind of hit it off right away. Yeah. He came from college. I think he was a college swimmer. I'd played ball in college.
He went to Harvard.
Yeah, I mean, he's a brilliant guy. And then we loosely kept in touch over the years.
Yeah.
And then Amber and I, we were in Miami for a work trip.
Yeah.
And her and I we like to take early morning walks and just go forever, drink coffee and just talk about life.
Yeah.
and I'm looking over, do you know in South Beach, they have that area where they bring all the weights out and there's people are working out on the beach there and pull-ups. And I'm like, that's Kaj. I'm like, hey. He turns around. He's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, oh, Amber and I are just taking a walk. He ran over, gave me a big hug. We took a picture. I hadn't seen him in years, except
His
for
chest is enormous.
yeah. He's an athlete, right?
All he does is work out. I mean,
I'm envious because he does a lot of diving and spearfishing and free diving. And that's like my calling.
Yeah.
And I will do that one day. And so I'm always like, I need to get down there with Kaj and just go look at fish and shit.
No, if you get jealous easily or something, do not look at Kaj's Instagram. Like, do not.
He's awesome. He's always smiling. He's always in good spirits. And I love that.
Yeah. He's a terrific example. Okay. But, Patrick might be the big, just in my group of friends and of all the people I know, the single biggest example of, if you need help, I will help you. And I will drop everything and you will get the help you need.
He helped me. I've had chronic back injury for years, and I don't want to put this out too much because I don't want him to get 1,000 phone calls, but I just said, I'm really, I can't do anything. I can't play golf. I can't surf. I can't snowboard. He's like, well, my dad's like a pretty well-known, back doctor, and hooked me up, and I'll never forget that because like you just said, he dropped everything for me, who was me. We weren't close. We had met through individual, just through kind of the friend network, but that's the whole community. Like, I do that. He does that.
Sure.
Kaj does that. DJ does that. Like, all the good ones do that. We just want to help. And I think that's the, that purpose and passion. And
I got a DUI one time. And I'm very ashamed that I ever was so irresponsible, but it happened.
I've been there. I didn't get a DUI, but I've definitely been behind the wheel when I shouldn't.
Drink and drive is so selfish. Oh God. Okay. But like smashed my face, and I was taken to a hospital, and Patrick's the one that met me at the hospital. Like dropped everything he was doing, met me at the hospital, and the police were like, "Yeah, dude, we got to take this guy to jail next." And then Patrick started talking to him, and they're like, I think he'd be better off with you. And
awesome.
It was, and I went directly to rehab after this, but,
not what you know, who you know,
he's
right?
the guy that, and then he also was the first guy to visit me when I was in rehab and all this stuff. It's like, dude, I could go on but so in my recovery, it's like I host meetings here and everything. And everyone that I'm in recovery with will do, anytime someone needs help, it's usually a rush. You have to fight people to
that's
take
the community,
person to the
man.
airport.
That's the part where we forget. We want to isolate. We want to move to Montana, which is really cool, by the way. But doing that by yourself when you're in a bad place, it's not healthy.
Oh God.
And the community is like what keeps everybody going, right? Like in the SEAL teams, you call it the brotherhood, but it's community, and individuals leave that and they're lost, right? You're isolated. And when you find that group again, it makes you just like almost instantly get better.
I hope that through this, I can help you build or grow your community.
Thank you.
I believe in you, and I believe in what you're doing, and I'm very excited to discuss it and have anything to do with it.
We're excited.
I'm going to say this again.
Yeah.
It's called Veterans Exploring Treatment Solutions.
Yes. VETS is the acronym. Veterans Exploring Treatment Solutions, vetsolutions.org. There's a ton of information on there.
Vetsolutions.org.
Vetsolutions.org.
Okay. Good. Ton of information. Okay. Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
I love you, dude.
I love you too.
Amazing. Thanks.
I'm grateful to be on here and just chat about this stuff. So
we're done. This is our, oh wait, no, wait, hold on a second. Wait. All right.
I do, if possible, again, cause I know this guy, can I talk about my commercial business? Is that because it's really, that's what's scaling the work that we're doing
of course.
On the veteran side,
even
though it is a for-profit entity, but it's
because we didn't even talk about you're hoping that you have a big project that will go.
Yeah. So, just from all the work we're doing and the more that we're getting on shows like this or the Daily Show, or, we're so apolitical. Like I've been on Jake Tapper, CNN. I've been on Will Keynes, Fox, like that's the mission though. Like, so for instance, we passed a big bill in Texas with Governor Abbott, and we took a picture with Governor Abbott. And then 2 weeks later, we're here in California and we're passing a bill in California, and we take a picture with Governor Newsom. I'm like, hey, that's just our mission. Our mission's not right or left. It's about healing people. And I want to, hopefully we can, both sides, as divided as we keep going, this is one thing I think that brings them back together. And I think we could all agree upon everyone should be healed and everyone should live a fruitful life. And I think that's the part that Amber and I really get excited about, because that's what it's about. You go back to the love piece. So,
tell me more about, you said the commercial business.
Yeah. So, Amber and I are building vets, and we're always thinking about ways, how do we expand vets? And I got lucky enough to be introduced to a very successful entrepreneur, Grant Verstandig. And Grant dropped out of Brown his freshman year because he saw a broken healthcare system. He had like 15 knee surgeries. He's like, there's something wrong with this. I'm going to fix it. Just like every good kind of really bright individual goes to build a company. And he started supporting vets over the years because he has an affinity for veterans, and just wanted to help the intel community and the veteran community. And like any good entrepreneur, like a year into supporting us, he's like, how do you scale this for everybody? Because this is not just a veteran thing. And long story short, his firm, his venture firm, Red Soul Partners, with me, founded Tara Mind. And what Tara Mind is basically just taking what we did for veterans and expanding that to the private sector, right? Because the private sector has 140 million Americans that get their benefits from employers. So like me and you, our healthcare benefits most likely are from our employer. So we said, okay, that's the way that we expand access for advanced mental health therapies. And because I was involved in psychedelic treatments, we're like, well, that's where we should start this. But then we realized very quickly, psychedelics are illegal in the US. They're still Schedule I. We can't do that. So what we did is we pivoted to just advanced mental health treatment. So things like the SAINT protocol that come out of Stanford. There's a one-day SAINT. These are like magnetic stimulations that go in the brain and like remission within 3 days. So we've built this company to take advanced mental health care and sell that to self-insured companies. So labor unions, really anybody that has employees.
That's really good to know that you're not just on the spearhead of this. Is that the phrase?
Tip of the spear.
Tip of the spear. That you're not just on the tip of the spear for helping all of your friends in this this nonprofit way, but also you have a business going forward, because I mean, this is like a bill. I just get the feeling that this is just the next kind of $1 billion, huge, mind-blowing, gigantic, game-changing situation.
It's so game-changing, and you'll completely understand when I tell you this. Most individuals, when they go seek out mental health care, just like I did, talk therapy and antidepressants. And we know they only work for, the numbers are kind of sad. It's like 14% of individuals respond, right? So what's next? So there's this huge gap in care, we call it, for individuals that don't respond. So that's what Tara Mind focuses on. So we don't focus on the traditional therapy. Tara Mind, like TARA Mind. We don't focus on the individuals that are getting help through talk therapy and antidepressants. Right. We focus on the ones that don't respond and are not getting the response they need, right? So there's a massive amount of Americans that are seeking advanced treatments that just don't know where to go. So that's what Tara Mind does, right? We help them. We've built like this whole kind of concierge ecosystem to take those folks and help them get better through the system.
Dude,
that's what we've done.
Golden age.
Yeah.
You're on the tip of a spear of a golden age.
I love that.
Amazing.
Yeah. Maybe we'll use that. Maybe that's our tagline.
It's a great tagline. Cool. Peace. We're done, Jerry.